Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with our first video of the new year. So happy New Year's, everybody. Happy 2024. And it is time to go over the best decks to climb, whether it be standard or wild, and whether you're trying to get to silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or legend for the very first time. It's a good way to start off the year with the deck recommendation video. So we're gonna go over standard and wild decks, and we don't have to even talk about twist since there literally is no twist season in January because reasons. And we're announcing our giveaway winners for our year-end giveaway. Each of these people will get $50 of Hearthstone packs out of my pocket. Thank you everyone who entered and all the support on the channel. We'll have a giveaway pretty soon. Whenever that next mini set's announced, we'll be giving away some of those, so stay tuned for all of that. And if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, hit that sub button down below, give the video a like, all the things. We're all festive with the new year. Anyways, let's get into the decks. I actually have, again, misadvertising. I said 5 decks for each. I got 10 standard and then 5 wild. So let's go with standard, where you'll note a theme at the top. Druid is pretty good right now. Arguably the best deck in all of standard. Treant Druid, also the cheapest deck in all of standard, just does really well across all ranks, even at high legend. Top 100 legend, people are playing this deck and having success. Pretty simple deck. You want to, play your early game, summon a bunch of treants throughout the game. You can buff your game, your early game up with Herald of Nature, and then you could draw cards for like 1 mana with Life from Death after it's been fully infused by 6. And of course, Cultivation comes down for 0, and it's just a ridiculously, utterly kind of broken card. And they're tutorable with Summer Flower Child. But yeah, really early aggressive deck, lots of reload, can be pretty sticky with your Soul of the Forest of the world, and yeah, really effective deck, really good. The games are fast, one way or the other. You lose, you win. It's gonna happen quickly, and it has been like the deck choice for like most players, it feels like, to try and get that quick legend climb. So if you're looking for a cheap deck option, you cannot go better than this. It is absolutely a ridiculous deck that is just, again, arguably the stats say it's like the best in the game. The next best deck is also Druid, not as cheap, Dragon Druid. Again, it's nothing too new since this came out, this expansion, all the way back in November. It was all of last year it happened. It's been forever. But yeah, you still got your nerf Splish Splash Whelp, which is still one of the highest mulligan win rate cards in the game because the ramp is busted, not the one attack. And yeah, you play your dragons. You got Cactus Construct is such an absurdly good card to help fill out your curve. Maybe give you a Splish Splash Whelp. Maybe even give you like a Flint. That could be nuts. But yeah, you ramp into your dragons, play your 0 mana 3/4 dragons now, buff up your dragon golems with your Jarn Gardens, as well as Take to the Skies. You got some additional reach in this version with Alexstrasza, and you can draw like the remainder of your spells with Malagos. And Fi is a beautiful card that comes down for 0 way too quickly. But yeah, Dragon Druid, pretty darn solid. Another, it's like one of the only for sure tier 1 decks out there, and I can highly recommend it. The deck I've been playing a lot and actually had a pretty decent run with the other day is Reno Druid. Is doing pretty well. It's not top tier. It's definitely significantly worse than the last 2 decks and some others. I think we'll go over some decks that are a bit more powerful, but it's probably the best Reno deck out there that's like consistently. Again, Reno Hunter numbers always seem to be good, but I never see it when I'm playing it, and the sample sizes are so low, I can never recommend it. But Reno Druid, I can. Reno itself is an absolutely ridiculous card, but even the synergy of just having Embrace of Nature, hit Drum Circle, play the Drum Circle with no other board, can win games on its own. Like, this deck has some power plays, whether it be ENR, refreshing your mana, or drawing your deck, or healing you. Of course, Yogg, stealing something, clearing the board. There's a lot of potential for good stuff with this deck. Of course, you have Ignis, you got Astalor, because why wouldn't you? But you really want to get the good early game ramp, right? You want your Splish Splash Whelp, which I'm terrible at drawing. I still won without it. But like Wild Growth, your Nourishes, your Widow Bloom Seedsman, there's a lot of good stuff in this deck. It's just, yeah, very vulnerable to aggro, and Plague Deathlight can be a bit of a problem, but it is beatable because he play big stuff that sometimes they just can't answer. And while the hotness everyone's been talking about, for sure we're gonna recommend Excavate Rogue, arguably like the 3rd or 4th best deck in the entire format. You're gonna see a ton of different versions of this. There's no one correct version. Some people like Gear Shift, some people like Breakdances, some people like Queen Najara. the important part of this deck, and the only thing that really matters from, I played almost like 100 games with it now, all that matters is getting Scourge Illusionist to Drilly, so don't draw Drilly, or have Velorok in your opener and scam with that card. Everything else is kind of inconsequential. It's all there to just try and help you get to that point. Flint can be good to get you some class cards, same with Kajamite. But overall, this has the concoction package. It's not bad because sometimes there are games where like Putricide can just solo. But overall, it's really about the Scourge scam, and I feel like half the games I get to do the cool stuff and win, and half the games I do nothing and blow up. It's a very coin flippy deck in my opinion. I think that's part of the reason why people are frustrated when they face it, because half the games it doesn't do much, half the games it high rolls and just obliterates you. So yeah, it's really fun to play, especially when you get that Scourge into Drilly. But yeah, just be aware, it's not like this insanely busted deck that's crazy. It just wins about half the games, and it can be really fun when you do win those games. Next, Plague Death Knight, a very consistent deck, very consistent at screwing over Reno decks because of cards like Hell Yeah, which shuffle in plagues like infinitely, and then you just put more in there. This is the most recent version from the Vicious Syndicate tier list of a bit more AoE with like hardcore cultist, trying to deal with like the Treant Druids, because there's just a lot of Druid out there, right? You want a bit more AoE, and you got Magatha for a nice card fill, but still running like Sylvanas, Primus. The core is still there where you can excavate and bring back your Reska, steal minions, and also get a bunch of healing. And it's a pretty solid deck. It doesn't really feel like it ever does anything too unfair. It's almost too fair a deck, but it's competitive, it's legend capable, and yeah, if you really don't like those Reno decks or those really draw heavy decks, the plagues can absolutely do some work against them. If you're more of that combo aggro aficionado, you want to play some Naga DH and hopefully help me get Blind Eye Sharpshooter nerfed, my trigger card, it always triggers me. Yeah, this is pretty darn good. Going down swinging is now in there now that it's been buffed from 5 to 4 mana, and you basically want to discount a bunch of stuff. Go in with Blind Eye Sharpshooter, blow up your opponent, like cycle through your deck. One of the recent additions lately has been Greedy Partner to give you not only ramp with that coin, but some more fuel for your Sharpshooter. So something to consider if this is your style of deck. Next, we have Naga Priest, which has been really good since the buffs. It was, again, a World Championship capable deck before the buffs, but now that Pip is 3, it's even more busted where you just get a bunch of one-cost cards, and basically you can just do really disgusting stuff with Crimson Clergy and like funnel cakes where you rip through your deck, you cheat a bunch of mana, you cycle into Thirsty Drifters for dirt cheap, and then you build a giant dreamboat and put your opponents to sleep, right? And Amethyl's in here because it's broken and it does no synergy, but it's broken. So Amethyl's in the deck, and yeah, it's pretty not a straightforward deck to play. I know it's got quite the learning curve, and again, it's like mid-tier 2, but if you like this kind of more tempo aggro combo-y style of deck, you will definitely have some fun playing some 1 mana cards. Next, we have like the best version of Control Warrior I think out there, the XL Excavate Odin Warrior. You need all the value, all the cards in your 40 card deck where you got your win condition of Odin, where you can gain a bunch of armor and go face, but you got all the excavates in here like Cobalt Miner, you got your Execute and Blast Charge, gain some armor with reinforced plating. No Slagma's not in here because he sucks. Sadly, he still sucks. Burrow Buster, all your AoEs, all your removals, and because you're playing Renathal, a lot of like the 30 card Reno decks and value decks, you can just win the fatigue battle. This has a ton of value, ton of AoE, and can certainly do some work, and has been one of the more successful control archetypes out there. Rainbow Mage is all the way down here because its matchup spreads have just gotten bad with all the cards that are or decks that are popular. Reno Mage has fallen down the power level, but it's the same deck as we're used to from before. This is the non-excavate version, which has been performing better, where you can get a big board with Elemental Inspiration. Of course, Sif can just nuke people, and we have in here Stargazing to help just draw more 0 mana draw if possible, and apparently still worth running Tram Mechanic to get that 1 fell spell in there, even if the Barrel of Sludge is 3 mana. But nothing really changed with this one other than the win rate has gone down considerably for Rainbow Mage, and I thought I'd throw one more fun one out there. This is apparently like tier 2 style deck. It might be good enough to climb, but I wouldn't go out of my way to crafting it. But if you have the cards, you just really like the Wishing Well, whenever you play a coin, you get a random legendary from another class. It costs 1. Yeah, it apparently is a competitive deck. We have Wishing Well, and basically Velorock's helped a lot. This card is cracked, so it really synergizes well with the Burgle cards. Got Flint in there that got buffed recently, and you got your coin generators, of course, with Bounty Wrangler, your greedy partner, and yeah, you just try and get to that Wishing Well, get a big scam, and if you really want to get a bit on the greedier end and you're not facing too much aggression, throw in a Tess and resummon those legendaries. But in today's meta, at least where I'm playing, usually greed does not win, and it's a lot about surviving aggro and just trying to get to that scam of Wishing Well, and you know, nothing much else. So those are the standard decks. Hopefully you can climb with those. For wild, we'll keep it pretty simple. Even Shaman, every single video I will recommend it because bots do well with it, human beings do well with it. It's a really good deck. It's nothing exciting, but it always performs really well. Reno Shaman, multiple people have hit rank 1 legend with different versions. I'm throwing this one out there that's got like the whole dehydrate tech in there, and ETC's even got a dehydrate as well as a sticky finger for those Kingsbane rogues or key weapons you want to hit, or cold storage. But basically chain Renos, heal up with Renos, and you know, just do the gross kind of nasty stuff. We got some tech cards in there, of course. It's always a bunch of tech cards in these decks, but overall, if you're looking for a Reno Shaman list, that one has hit rank 1 legend. Shadow Priest, one of the best fast decks possible out there. This version threw an Idol's Adoration for 2 0-mana deal 2 hero powers, which isn't too bad, but overall it's usually the same deal. You really want to get your Void Touched Attendant, which could just win the game on 1. It's so disgusting the damage it could push. Play your 1-drops in, you got your Thirsty Drifter in here. You can cheat out in the late game, you know, like turn 4 or 3 or something. Burgle Rogue has made, it's like the only newer deck I'll throw out there. Burgle Rogue has apparently been a playable deck in wild at decent ranks. I wouldn't go, again, not, the numbers are so limited, I don't know, but there have been some decent performances, and I gotta throw out one fun deck. So yeah, Wild Paw Knolls go down to 0, back like the good old days, because like Shell Game getting buffed just gives you a bunch of cards. Obsidian Shard, actually a meta wild card, maybe getting that 0-mana 3/3 weapon. How about that? Of course, you got Velorock and all your Burgle cards and your coins and your Shadow Steps and all of that. Again, I don't know how great this deck is, but I had to throw it out there. I know Martian's been doing like different versions of it, loving it, so I definitely had to recommend it. And I'll just throw out regular Miracle Rogue. Soda, again, I'll mention he always gets like rank 1 legend with his deck. He's throwing in some anti-Reno tech now and all that stuff. You can move things around, but all that really matters is your Giants, your Lothebs, Zephyr after you cycle through your whole deck, and go from there. So there you go. Bunch of standard decks, some wild decks, and good luck on your climb in the new year. Hopefully you get that rank you're looking for. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.